Hi, and welcome to another episode of Head in the Clouds Working Wise. My name is Alicia, and today we're here with Ajit Chandran. He is a senior product manager at Microsoft, and he's going to be showing us how to set up the expense agent. So, Ajit, it's a pleasure having you here today, and we're eager to see what you have for us.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for having me. Uh, Maybe in the next few minutes, we'll be talking about how to deploy the expense agent itself. Uh, we've come a long way in this topic because this is one of the coolest features that we've released in the near months. And setting up has been always a pain for customers and partners to try out these agents, right? So this is why we have the agent deployment tool, which is freshly out of the oven, and that's what I would want to talk about today.
So, Ajit, before we get started, what level of expertise does someone need to know to do this? Do they need to be a technical person? Do they need to have access to certain like PPAC and different things like that to kind of get us started? Like, who's your audience? Who's the ideal audience for this?
So the system administrators are the people who are expected to be using this tool. However, uh, we do not need all the admin rights to run this tool as well. There is very limited roles and privileges that a user needs to have, and as long as we have that, we can use the tool. Secondly, they need not be technical because it's going to be a wizard which is going to walk you through each of the steps that has to be performed, along with links to where to go and update, what to update, including what details to look out for. So everything is something, I mean, the tool is going to help you with, and that's what we will be walking you through today.
Fantastic. I'm eager to see it. This is good.
Perfect. So this is the Power Platform Admin Center. So inside this, we have a Copilot option, and within which, uh, just remind it, you have a Dynamics 365 option, right? This is not something that was available until the last week. So, like I said, it's freshly baked out of the oven. The first step is to select the environment where you need to have the agent set up. So I'm just going to choose my environment here.
So, as you're setting up these environments, could I set this up for a sandbox and a production environment? Would that be the
Yes.
thought here?
Yes, you can set it up for any environment. So, like you see, I'm setting up for a sandbox one because you want to test it on a sandbox even before moving to production, right? So, let's do this.
Can you
So,
set
if
it
you
up?
see once,
Can you set it up on a tier two, or
yeah,
does it have
go
to
ahead.
be a tier? Can it be set up on a tier one as well, or just a tier two and above?
It has, I mean, it doesn't matter. Any
Oh, it
environment you
doesn't
can have it
matter.
set up as
Okay,
long as,
perfect.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And as you see here, as soon as I selected the environment, you have all the agents enabled here. So the advantage now is you can set up any agent as per the need of your organization just by coming in here. So today we'll walk through what we have for expense agents. I'm going to just click on add, and this is the wizard experience that I was talking to you about earlier, right? So the first step, it gives you an overview as to what are the different steps that has to be performed or what the user is going to perform in the next few screens. And this is just an overview section where we'll talk about each of the steps that we will be going through next. So just let's quickly jump into the prerequisites. So if you see here, the first step is to check the prerequisites. So we need to validate to make sure our finance and operations environment do have a certain version and a PQU update for that particular version so that you have the latest and the greatest of the agents. So for 44, it's 102 and above, and for 45, it's 167 above. This is also supported in 46. So as and when we have more versions coming in, you will also see those information right here, and so that the user do not have to go anywhere to look for any additional details. So this current environment that I am on is already on a higher version, so I'm okay with that. The second one is to enable Copilot in PPAC. So the link is right here. It opens up a new page, which will help you choose or enable that particular field if it's disabled. So yeah, if you see here, this particular is already enabled for me, so I'm okay to mark that as well completed. Similarly, enable the Copilot Studio message consumption and billing. So that also, the link is right here. That's also set up for my environment. The major, or it's marked as optional, however, for expense agent, we always see that there has been a lot of issues when we activate various flows, which comes in the next steps, right? So we have an option to refresh the entities right here. This is one of the most tedious asks that customers have always given feedback on, because it takes a lot of time for users to go and update or refresh entities manually. So we have an option right here. So as soon as I click on refresh, it's going to choose all the entities that is being used by the expense agent and have them refreshed as well. This is a recommended step. We recommend this to be done even before the agent is being set up, so that we have a seamless setup of the agent as well. This is going to take roughly around 7 to 10 minutes. So we'll wait until we have the virtual entities refreshed.
So Ajit, as this runs, so I think you're saying it'll take about 10 minutes for this refresh process to run. So as it's running, I'd like to ask you a few questions. One, I noticed that you talked about the billing component. Could you kind of talk through how Microsoft bills for each one of these different transactions, and what is a transaction during the process?
Sure, Alicia. So, as far as the expense agent is concerned, it's basically the number of messages that the agent consumes to create an expense line. What we see is it takes an average of somewhere between 10 to 15 messages based on the complexity of the tasks that the agent have to do. The reason why I say so is, in case you are an organization who also use projects, and you use projects within expense management as well, then there's far more activities that the agent does. So that's going to take around 15 to 18 messages. On the other hand, you also have automat scenarios where you already have credit card transactions in the system, and now you want the agent to reconcile those transactions with the receipts that the users send. You don't have to create expense lines because it's already created, so it's much lesser. So that's going to take around 10 to 12 messages. So on an average, for each expense line that's created, the agent consumes about 10 to 15 messages roughly. Irrespective of the number of mails a user sends, so a user can send, say, 10 receipts in one mail, or they could send 10 emails with one receipt each. It does not matter. All that matters is the expense lines that is being created by the agent.
Got it. That's really helpful. The other thing I wanted to ask is, when you were refreshing this virtual entity, what exactly was it doing, and did it affect any of the other agents that I may have deployed in that environment?
That's a great question. Not really. So what the refresh entities does is, all the entities that the expense agent uses, it's getting refreshed so that the entities have the latest data in it. So there might be some enhancements done, and the next set of flows which are being activated might be using these entities. So we want to make sure that the entities are refreshed, have the latest and the greatest, and so that all the rest of the steps go seamlessly. So if you see here now, all the virtual entities have been refreshed successfully. In some cases, you might see some errors in the same screen saying, one or more entities failed, or the refresh of the entity is incomplete. Nothing to worry about it. All we have to do is click on the refresh button again, and the entities would try to refresh again. And this time, only those entities which were unsuccessful in the last attempt will get refreshed. So it's not going to be the whole set of entities again. So the time taken is going to be lesser. However, it will try to refresh only those entities which were unsuccessful. So that's what we will have to do.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to also cover here is that this tool is something that is being worked upon and enhanced as we speak as well. While you see some of them are still manual, they are in the process of getting automated. So you will see more updates coming in and having the overall deployment story be made more easier, right? So one such example is here. So you would have to make sure that the agent user is already created before we even get into this step. As of now, it's not automated here, but this will also eventually get automated. So for me, I've already created a user. So I just click on add. So this is going to be my agent user, the expense agent user. So I've just added that user here. And these are the different licenses needed. So you have all those information as well here. We would need a Power Apps Premium or a Power Automate Premium. We don't need both. We would need either a finance one, or we would need project operations, or even a team member's license. Anything beyond or higher than a team member's license would do for the agent to work. And then a license that covers both Outlook and Teams. It could be a E5 license. Anything that covers both Outlook and Teams is enough for the agent to be having. So this is on the licenses side. There are also certain roles and privileges that have to be assigned to these users on both the Power Platform side as well as the finance and operations end as well. On the finance and operations, we have the expense AI agent role and the system user as well. All of these roles, don't have to worry. They are well documented in the Learn document, which also we will share a little later. But on the PPAC end, we do have system customizer, expense AI agent role, and finance and operations agent configuration manager. So these are some of the privileges that are needed for the agent user to work as expected. So in this case, I've already have all of them set up. So I'm just going to mark them complete and go to the next. Now the fun part begins. Now the actual connect to the agent happens while we create these connections and activate the various flows that the agent uses. Until now, we had to do it manually. We had to go create these connections manually. But today, we can do it right from the screen. So you see a plus button here where this will help you create a new connection. When I click on that, it takes you to that particular section where you create the connection that I wanted to. So that was a Microsoft Dataverse connection that I wanted to create. So if you see here, it just asks you this. And all that the user has to do is click on the create button. It's going to ask for permissions. I'm just going to say, okay, that's my expense agent user because that's the user with which I want to create the connections. I'm going to allow access and then done. So similarly, you could also create all of these in each of these sections, and they would just appear in here. So I did have the other connections created already, but you could create it with the plus or the add connection button here. Once done, you could click on add connections to the agent. That's not going to take a lot of time. It's going to be quick.
Now, as we're setting up this agent, are we setting this agent up for a specific legal entity inside of D365, or are we setting this up for all the legal entities within D365, or is that something you'll get to in a little bit?
I can quickly cover about that as well. That's a great question anyway. So the expense agent that we are setting up is for the complete environment. However, administrators can still decide which legal entities should have the agent run. You have something called as the expense management parameters, which I can probably show you in a bit, where you could enable or disable the expense agent. So if you have a particular legal entity that does not want to use the agent, you can simply go and disable it. And at a time when you want to, you can have that enabled. So it's a once-time setup. At the same time, you have control for each legal entity as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you see here, the agent is now connected, and The last step is to activate the flows and other processes. Again, click of a button. So each of these flows, so these are the different flows that the agent uses, and all of these flows are being activated as we speak. So you see here, activated, activated. In some cases, one or more flows might fail. Nothing to worry. All you have to do is just click on the activate flows again here. So all of them are activated. I just have 2 more. 1 more to go. Boom, that's done. So if you see, all the flows are now activated, and we are good to go to the next one. Once we have all the flows enabled, the next step is to publish the agent. So we'll have to make sure we have both of these entries here, expense entry agent, expense agent line, both of these agents published. And this can be done from the Copilot Studio so that we have the latest published as well. Once that's done, and you can mark that as complete, the next is to have some of the environment variables that the agent uses updated as well. So the FNO instance URL, so that the agent knows which environment to connect to. What's the expense agent Outlook folder path? So what happens here is, if organizations want to have a specific folder where they have all the receipts coming in from employees, they could have that here. By default, inbox is what is taken, but if you have any specified folder that you've created, you can have them specified in here. And finally, the expense agent mailbox address ID. So for me, it's the same user ID, but if you have a shared mailbox that has been created for an organization, you can have them updated here. And I'm just going to mark it as NA. But we need to make sure that you have an mailbox address entered in here so that the agent knows which mailbox to check for and where to look for the mails as well. So, and then I click on update environment variables. So that's also completed successfully. With this, we are done with the setup of the expense agent. And if you have tried this before, you know how much of a process improvement this has been, because it's all in one place and it's all a wizard kind of a setup, which is going to make it more streamlined and easier for you to have the expense agent setup. Similarly, you would have all the other agents as well as part of the same tool. So you could have any of them set up the same way.
I love this. So I love that Microsoft listened to the community and then took it to heart and actually built a tool so that a non-technical person could actually go through this process. So Ajit, you just started with the wizard, and obviously you have to have permissions to certain things. You have to have certain licenses. So before you get started, I would encourage everyone to watch this video to make sure that you do have the proper licenses and the proper permissions before you get started through this process. So Ajit, we're super excited to see how the agent is used in a future video. And is there anything else you want to leave with our audience today before we wrap up?
One quick thing that probably I would want to share is we all hate expense management as much as we want to track all these expenses and everything. But this is one agent that will help you streamline the overall expense management. And the ease of setup is so that it's much easier for you to go and set up the agent and try it out. So I would just recommend all of you to give it a shot, try it out in your sandbox systems and give us feedback. We are also eager to know what the agent does now and how could we improve further. So all open for that.
Fantastic. Ajit, thank you again. And for those that are watching it today, I hope you do go try it out in your sandbox and give us feedback. Let us know if you're using it, how you're using it, and how much time it's saving you on your expense management processes. So until next time, keep your head in the clouds and keep working wise.